I'm doing a 2-in-1 book review today. Sorry I haven't been quite as productive as I normally am here. Life's just getting in the way. I need to sort myself out of it. Anyway, both books today are Fairy Loot special editions of the book. This is Serpent and Dove. Beautiful cover, shiny glittery edges, and personally signed. And we got the illustrated reverse duck's jacket as well. So, you know, huge bonus points for the beauty of this book. Serpent and Dove is enemies to lovers, witches and witch hunters storyline. We follow Lou and Coco, who are two witches in a French-inspired environment. I'm pretty certain it's inspired. I don't think we actually are in France. Who live alongside ordinary people with no magic, and witch hunters whose sole purpose in life is to hunt down witches, torture them for their information, and then burn them at the stake. You know, the typical witch hunting thing. Lou, unfortunately, through a series of very clever events, so don't panic about that, ends up getting married to a witch hunter called Reed, who is as straight-laced as they come. Cue fireworks. Lou I love because she speaks her mind. She's not afraid of being different, of being herself, even though she is hiding what she is. She's still true to who she is. I loved Coco, her best friend. She is just so, I don't care what anybody thinks about me. I'm doing what I want and I love her for it. Reed, he takes a little while to warm to because he is so straight-laced and so indoctrinated into the whole witch hunters ethos and their belief system. But Ansel, who's another witch hunter in training, he's adorable and I love him, and he is like, this is what a best friend is like. Particularly as the story progresses, he's best friend material, guys. This is what you're aiming for. The world building in here, there's a lot of history going on. There's a lot of repercussions of historical events, which is why we have such a friction between witch hunters and witches, apart from the obvious reason. And there's a lot of that history that is involved in quite major plot events, which I won't spoil because that comes much later on in the story. This is part 1. I don't know if it's a trilogy or a duology. My biggest drawback is the way this ends. Literally, I turn the page expecting to see another chapter, and there's not. Yeah, cue silent screaming on the bus. So that is my only big gripe with this book. The descriptions are beautiful without being too much. The world is immersive. You feel like you're part of this world. The characters are flawed. They are interesting. They are diverse. And because it's quite a focus group as well, you get to know them really well. But even the supporting characters like the Archbishop and the Dame Blanches, you get to know them pretty well. You get to know where they stand, what they think, what they feel. The enemies to lovers trope, and yes, it is a trope, is actually handled really well in here. At no point does it feel forced. At no point is it suddenly and then they were in love. This is a gradual progression of two people actually coming to find out that they care quite deeply for each other, which was quite refreshing to read, actually. I have to say, I just love this book. Serpent and Dove is probably one of the best books I've read this year. I highly recommend it. Even if you're not into the enemies to lovers trope, because of the way it's handled, you don't feel it. It's more about Lou. It's more about conflict. It's more about prejudice and being who you are and opening up to others and friendship and loyalty. There's so much more going on than just that main trope. So don't let that put you off reading this book. I loved it so much. I highly recommend it. It is a beautiful book, but you know, it's a great story as well. The other Fairy Loot book is The Merciful Crow. This is again a very pretty cover, and this edition also has the alternative inside cover, and it is signed by the author. No sprayed edges on this one. This is another fantasy magic based world. It's not quite as hefty as Serpent and Dove. It is the first in, I'm presuming, a series. Whereas this one actually comes to a reasonably satisfying pause in the story, rather than a jarring stop like Serpent and Dove. It's very much, there's more to the story to be told. In this kingdom, everybody seems to have a caste based on a bird. The crows are the bottom of the barrel. They are looked down upon, they're unwanted, they're treated like dirt, they are hunted by like an official group that are allowed to hunt them, do whatever they want with them. Being a crow is not good. But if you're a crow, your job is to go into villages that have a plague victim, deal with the plague victim, and then take their body away so the rest of the village doesn't become infected. Because as a crow, you are protected from the plague. So you'd have thought people would be grateful that there's this group of people who deal with death and suffering so that they don't have to. But no, apparently in this world, we don't like you, but we'll use you. Take that as the metaphor you want it to be. We follow Fee, who is a crow. She's going to be the leader of her group. So she's in training from her father. And she and her people end up getting tangled up in a political mess, really, that the upper caste has decided that they're going to cause. And in order to get the crows on board, they basically say, well, we'll make sure your lives are better. And there's a bit of a romance in here between Fee, our lead crow, and the crown prince, and also a little bit between her and the bodyguard. I'm selling it as a love triangle, but it's not really a love triangle. Love triangle doesn't really sum it up, even though there are 3 people involved. It's more complicated than that. The biggest draw that this story has is the crows draw magic through teeth. So they will use the teeth of the other caste to create their magic. That's where it comes from. So again, like Serpent and Dove, there is a magic system that plays to the rules, that magic actually has a cost, and you can't create something from nothing, which is kind of satisfying in a world where you flick a wand and hey presto, it's all done for you. There is a place for that magic, but I do kind of like my magic to have rules as well. And Merciful Crow's certainly got those rules. There's some very obvious parallels between what's going on in our real world situation with various groups of people and what's going on in the Merciful Crow. It's pretty obvious. And if you're not seeing it, then sorry. I enjoyed the Merciful Crow, not as much as a Serpent and Dove, but then they're 2 very different stories being told. Merciful Crow feels like the start of like a big epic fantasy almost, that there's a lot more going on in this world, that we've only really seen one side of it. And it's the start to change. Things are going to change, but it's not going to happen in this book yet. Whereas Serpent and Dove, we have an establishment, but it's not about that. It is about the characters and how people can change. So it's quite interesting. I have to admit, it's been a little while since I've read The Merciful Crow, so a lot of the details, as is usual when I read, have kind of disappeared from my memory. I'm rubbish at remembering what's gone on in a book that I've read until I pick it back up and start reading again. But I do remember putting this down, being very satisfied with it, wanting to know more and enjoying the story. And I liked a lot of the characters in here as well, particularly Fee. She's very strong. Again, she's flawed, but she accepts that she's not perfect. But she's just trying to do her best for her people. That is her goal in life, to be the best crow leader that she can be. And to keep her people safe. But also at the same time realising that actually she wants more from her life. That she wants crows to have more in their lives. And it's kind of like her trying to see a way to make the changes that the Crown Prince is promising. And realising what he's promising is not enough. That she wants more for her and her people. Whereas Serpent and Dove, Lou just wants to be left alone. She just wants to get on with her own life. And she's being played by various sides because of who and what she is. But I can't tell you because of spoilers. So they are 2, I hope, spoiler-free book reviews for you. Have you read either book? Let me know your thoughts down below, with obviously without spoiling too much for people, or send me a message via Twitter if you want to go into those big spoilery details, and I'll do my best to remember what happens in the books. As always, in the description box down below, there will be a link to a small booktuber. Please go and check them out. That would be really nice of you. There are the links to my social media and my book blog as well. You can find me in various places now, so come and say hi. That would be lovely. There are more reviews on my book blog of books that I haven't discussed on my channel here. Please go and check them out as well. I'm trying to get into the habit of more detailed reviews on my blog, and a bit more about my thoughts and how books made me feel, rather than spoiling an entire book for you. I want to give like an impression of what it was about, so you can decide if that's kind of your thing you want to like. Let me know if you enjoy that or not, or do you just want me to spoil books? You know, let me know. As always, thank you very much for watching, and happy reading. Bye.